Hi YouTube, welcome to my first video, and today we're going to be talking about bouncing bus audio, and this is important for sound design, and it's especially important if you have, if you're doing sound design, if you have multiple channels, multiple tracks that you want to combine into one single audio sample. It's not necessarily straightforward. And I haven't been able to find anybody who speaks about this on YouTube, Google, so just sharing what I learned. So very quickly, just gonna go over what I have here. I have Serum on my synth channel, and that is just essentially creating my snare. I'm going to upload a series of videos that talk about tips and tricks for creating snares that sound great, how to make sure that they sound phenomenal, and essentially being a sound master, a master of your sound, than rather being like a wizard, like trying to figure out some shit where you're like, oh, it works, but I don't know how it works. Anyways, so I've got Serum creating that sound. If you hear this little whitewash of noise, ignore that. That is OTT being weird. I'm gonna turn that off right now. I have two snare outputs for some reason. Let's delete that. Don't need it. Okay. I then also have a closed hat that's being layered with that. Very subtle. Add more if I want to. I'm gonna turn this down so you guys don't hear that. You guys can probably hear it coming through my computer and not necessarily through my monitors, and that's what I want. Anyways, so then we've got my synthesized snare, a closed hat I'm layering with that, and then I also have this channel over here which is adding in some distortion. Let me send that. Just adding some body low end. I also have this tape distortion. Not doing much other than creating a very slightly different version of this original sound and mixing it in for some phase distortion, which phase distortion is amazing, but phase distortion shouldn't be used in excess. I think people don't understand what phase distortion is, and they allow it to get out of control. And it's very important to understand phase distortion if you have the intention of doing like dance music, club music. Phase distortion is very important because at some point you are going to be playing in a club that converts all the audio signal into mono, and if it's mono, boy, if you have phase distortion, that is going to sound like shit. It's not going to sound very nice coming through the speakers. So the goal of this is to make sure that your stuff comes through nice sounding and wonderful. Anyways, I'm getting very off track from the topic of the video. I'm just very quickly going to get back into it. Right, so I have all these different channels that have different information that I want to send into one. Okay, basically how you do that: set your output to a single bus. Okay, that single bus is going to be what I call the central bus. Okay, the central bus is going to be what you want as your finished product. Okay, I solo my central bus. That's what I want. I don't want just that. Okay, now what you do from here, since you can't just right click on the channel and select bounce in place, there's no actual physical information here. Your bus is recording, or sorry, your bus is has stuff coming through in real time. When you're not playing anything, there's nothing there. So understanding that, what you have to do here in order to get this information recorded, create an audio channel that takes the output of this bus and sets it as its input. Okay, so set input bus 2 from this bus, right? If you're creating stereo samples, make sure that your input is stereo. If you're creating mono samples, mono, but if you're creating mono samples, it can be in stereo. It doesn't matter, because either way, if it's in mono and it goes to stereo, it's the same on both channels. But just, it's important if you're working with stereo to make sure it's stereo. Anyways, you can hit input monitoring, and you see that you're getting the information now. Okay, wonderful. Hit record enable, hit record. Okay, you didn't hear it because I had it soloed and I didn't have input monitoring on. But just to prove it, I will take off the bus input. Yep, I know it's an invalid input setting, not having an input. There you go. That is your combined audio signal of everything coming in. And now you can strip silence. Boom. Export to library. Export is also here. Export as audio file. And there you go. You can start using your own audio samples, layering them, changing them how you want to, and all that jazz. By the way, if any of you are going to ask me about why this waveform looks different from this waveform, is because I have automation going on, which is something that I will talk about in the sequence of videos that I explained earlier about how to create interesting snares. Thank you. My name is Wolf, and thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day.